This is John Finney, Washington, D.C. We'll get started here in just a minute. Just waiting on a couple other people to connect their audio, and then we will go. I muted the line, by the way, so if you're talking and you can't hear anything or you're not getting a response, that's why. If you have a question or comment, just use the chat box in the right-hand control panel, and then we will be able to communicate that way. And we'll get started here momentarily. Henry, can you hear me? Henry Vigeant? You were muted there for a second, but you should be good to go. I got to have a response from my co-pilot, though, before I can go here. Henry? Henry Vigeant. Can you hear me? All right, now can you hear me, Henry? You keep getting muted. I don't know what's going on here.
Here we go.
All right.
John?
I wasn't muting you. I was just unmuting you.
I was doing it at the same time you were doing me, so I get to kick it back. Anyways.
Okay, that's what the problem was. Sorry about that.
You're still on the screen, John, for the audio, okay?
Yeah, we had a couple other people that hadn't connected their audio yet, so I was waiting for them to get connected. And all right, we can blast off. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Ready, Freddy. All right, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is John Finney in the Washington, D.C. area, waiting for a foot of snow. It's so traumatic. Actually, it's kind of fun and exciting. But we are going to talk about some other energetic things tonight. We're going to talk about North American Power. I appreciate you all joining us. I've got my co-partner, presenting partner on the phone with me, Henry Vigeant, and he actually is much closer to the Arctic than all of us. He's up in the North Pole in New Hampshire. And is anything not covered in snow out there?
Probably not, no.
You usually can see Santa taking off, right? From where you are. All right, I'll quit picking on your northerly locale. I'll tell you what the excitement is. We're showing people how they can earn $14.50 in next week by helping 30 people spend no money but save money on a bill that they have to pay, which is kind of amazing. And they can get free energy every month on top of that. And when we say every month, we mean every month. So we'll show you how to do that. It's not very difficult, but it does take a little bit of time. So you will have to actually do some work, but not a whole lot. Okay. I had already hit the record button, by the way. We're also going to show you the only home-based businesses ranked by Forbes magazine and how we pay you to join us, and a no-cost business model that's forcing other home businesses to change how they do business. And we just had our first $1 million earner, so we'll talk about them tonight. So we're going to cover all that in the next 10 minutes, or, all right, we'll take a little bit longer than that. But here's Henry right here, and he's helped a lot of people get checks like this. We'll show you a long list of those people in just a minute. But Henry and Rachel and their big clan obviously are very busy people. They've got a horse rescue farm up in New Hampshire where they're doing a lot of good things up there, raising a lot of kids. Henry served his country in the Army for 6 years. He's actually owned his own restaurant multiple times. He's an executive chef. He has got his own construction business, and he's been in the direct sales industry for 15 years. And he's done some amazing things here with North American Power. In fact, in the last year, he put 2,000, actually closing in on 2,200 customers into his organization. In fact, he broke this record just, 2 days ago? He had 100 people join. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Today, yes.
Did you mute yourself again?
No, I'm here. John?
Okay. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday.
You had how many people? 100 what?
101 sign-ups in one day.
101 people joined yesterday. And so you can see his group is exploding pretty quickly. At 100 people a week, that's 400 a month. That's 5,000 in a year if he just stayed at 100 a week. And obviously he's going to blow right by that. We think that he'll definitely add 10,000 people here in 2014. So it's going to be a great year. He already had a nice year in 2013. That was his bonus check at the end of October. And here's that list that we were telling you about. You want to mention you had a couple new people just hit this list?
Yes, actually I have one guy, excuse me here, try to think who it was. David, I don't think I see him on here, but David Santiago, he actually just hit senior manager tonight. So it's another $500 for David. James Reddick's brand new. Actually, James Reddick just $1,000, I believe, for him. And also Maria and Ron Cormier, they just hit a check. So I have a few other people right now that are just some pending status, and they'll be getting theirs very shortly. But it's just really exciting. I mean, you can see the top 5. I have 5 people ready to hit another $2,500 check in the next month or two. Eddie Heiss with it in a week, so he'll be the top bonus earner. So it's just exciting. It's exciting to see these people where most of these guys on this list have no network marketing experience.
That really is. That's awesome. So congratulations to you and to all of those people that have gotten those checks. We had a couple guys do in 30 days some fantastic things. They put 100 customers in, and they each got $1,000, and then they had 2 more people 3 weeks later qualify. That's a fairly recent story. It just happened a couple months ago. And I love seeing this kind of stuff. Obviously, Ron and his organization, they're going to do similar things. They're coming out of the gate so fast. So we can put their checks up here and replace them. So, Henry Vigeant, your turn.
Thank you, sir. Well, when I met John 5 years ago, I'm going to keep this kind of brief. I was very intrigued because John had a very successful career for 17 years in Nu Skin as in the $1 million circle. So I met him back in 2009. He was one of the top 20 reps over in that company, and him and I kind of partnered up ever since. And and I took a little time off for my family. And get out of the industry for a little while. But John and I actually are back working together, which is really exciting. John's doing some wonderful things here at North American Power, one of the top, fastest growing people in the company right now. So we're blessed to have you, John, and thank you for being here. Now, everyone, tonight John's actually going to start this presentation on how to help people.
Great. What if you could share information with others that saves them money on a bill they have to pay and get paid for sharing that information, and then give them the same ability to go and do the same thing? Most people would pay money to be able to do that, but here you can actually do that for no cost, and the company will pay you straight commission for all your referrals. In fact, they'll pay you to join us. That's a very different setup and what we like to call a new philosophy for a home-based business with no startup cost, no monthly fee, no website fee, no annual renewal fee, no hidden service charges, no buying product to get paid, and what that really amounts to is no financial risk. That means you get straight commission on an essential service instead of trying to get people to budget a new or ongoing expense. And you can work it part-time or full-time, so there's no pressure on you. In fact, you're in profit range right away. The first day you can make back, or you can make money. You can be profitable. There's nothing to make back. And then what you're doing is you're not straining the relationships where you have to apologize later if people don't earn their money. And that's a big change in the home-based business. That starts a revolution. And here's another revolution, and that's deregulation. And if you look at the telecom dereg timeline, it's pretty fascinating to see over a 100-year period the change, the really iron grip that the Bell system had on our lives, and how they had very little innovation. and they had high rates and low customer service. And then in 1984, the government declared that the Bell system was a monopoly, and they chopped it up into 7 different companies. And most of us remember that. And then another 12 years later, we had the telecom deregulation, where the whole infrastructure was opened to the Internet and to cell phone development, and those 2 areas just exploded with technology, and it was a happy day for all of us. And I can show you the impact of the stranglehold that the Bell system had on innovation with just 2 pictures. One is this telephone here from the 30s and 40s. It kind of looks like something you'd find in North Korea right now, which is kind of funny. But fast forward 50 years later, and look at that. It's the exact same phone. That is the most striking thing. I actually went online and poked around to find those images, and you can literally go and check the dates on that. It was shocking to me. And I still remember as a kid turning this crazy dial, and if someone had, 9s and 0s in their phone number and you didn't take it all the way around, you had to start all over again on the phone. And then after deregulation, things got great. In fact, we got this new touch tone technology. Remember that? When this came out, we had to lease these phones because they were so expensive. And then obviously the prices came down as more and more companies got in on the scene. And then we got all of a sudden a suitcase phone, which was great, and that was portable. And then we got the brick. It took several years before that happened, like 10 years. And then, here we are today, 20 years after that. And I'm talking to you on the Samsung S4, which I think is better than my desktop. It'll take dictation and do all kinds of fun things that my desktop won't. So deregulation leads to innovation, lower prices, and higher quality every time it's tried. Doesn't matter what the industry is, railroad, telephone, airline, energy. When free market and competition hits a market, things get better, and we've seen that time and time again, and that's what's exactly now the situation in energy. For the first time ever, people have the ability to choose their energy provider, and if you look at how big energy deregulation is, it's $850 billion. Well, telecom was about 1/10 that size, but it created thousands of millionaires when it was deregulated. And now Warren Buffett, the world's most successful investor, is calling deregulation of energy the largest transfer of wealth in American business history. And here we are, and hardly anybody knows about this. And I had no idea. Henry gets all the credit because he dove in here. He took the risk. He took the arrows, and I did not. I told him he wasn't going to make money, that there wasn't enough money here, that he couldn't keep his customers, and on and on and on. And I was wrong. I had no idea how much money was here, and most people don't either. They're clueless on this, but they're going to find out very quickly. And Henry, what he's going to do now is he's going to walk you through the company and the dream team that we have put in place here with this company.
Thank you, John. I've been in the business now 13 months, and I've come to find out that the core group, that I call them the top 5, they were the best of the best in each one of their respective companies. They had Kerry Breitbart. He was a past president of United Companies. Mr. Kerry Turnbull, past president and chairman of the founder of the American Energy Exchange. But they hired Bill Kinnery, who was the top guy in energy that they thought, and he was the president of Keyspan Energy, and he was a 2-time chairman of the National Energy Markets Association. So they wanted to bring in the best of the best in direct sales, and so they brought in Mr. Jim Manion, and he was a past president of Party Light. They did billions of dollars in revenue over a 40-year period of time. So then they brought in a top network marketing president, Mr. Brad Tales. So right there, that's kind of just the writings on the wall. They set themselves up for success. Now, when I got into this business, I was looking at, a way to get out of it. I was trying to talk one of my friends out. So I really went in depth and tried to figure out, what was behind the company. What I found out was an unlimited line of credit for expansion and growth from the Global 500, and that's British Petroleum. Then the number 6 largest company in the world. And then when you look at this Global 500 list, you're going to see that 7 out of 10 companies on this list are energy companies. So what does that tell you about deregulation in the energy field? It tells me I'm in the right place at the right time. But this was the game changer for me, or kind of what really made my head spin. Forbes magazine listed us as number 57 on the most promising companies list in 2011. We're the first home-based business ever recognized by Forbes magazine, and a direct quote from Forbes, senior manager has a combined 100 years experience of various aspects of the energy business. Now, as we like to say, we're an energy company selling energy, not a marketing company selling an opportunity. And you'll hear more about that a little later. Now, here's something very new. Chief Executive Magazine, they did a little study about the mid-market elite in the country, right? So they chose 197,000 companies with revenues between $10 million a year and $1 billion a year. Okay, so out of that 197, we're just going to call it 200,000, all right, to make it simple here. They chose 100 companies, and on that 100 companies list was North American Power. And out of that 100, they said, hey, we're going to choose the top 5 CEOs, and Kerry Breitbart was one of them, which I feel is pretty interesting. Now, Kerry has done some amazing things in the industry. I mean, he actually was the finalist of the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2013, 2-time Gold Stevie Award for the American Business Award for Best Energy Company, and Best Energy CEO or Executive of the Year. Now, Kerry is a humble guy, but he's also the type of person that Fox Business brings on to ask him pertinent questions about what's going on in the industry right now, because he was a pro, a 30-year pro in energy brokerage. He actually was one of the people that helped found oil derivatives in his company, and they had a 2-year head start on the whole entire world. So he can see the vision where energy is going, and so can other people like NBC Channel 10. They see North American Power lowering the national grid rates. It's right there in black and white. This was just on the news 3 weeks ago. So this is coming from the Rhode Island customers. So if you're a Rhode Island person watching TV, right, let's check out the marketing on this. They'll be like, okay, let's do the math. That looks about 10 or 15%. Most people are going to choose that. So the company is doing some great things. I actually went to the company to do a nice corporate visit. I definitely say that everybody should do that at least once. I actually invited John there to bring a few people, and it's just a really pleasant place. They're really down to earth, but they do a great job. And so you can definitely check out the company there. So what John's going to actually do is go over the revenue of the company right now.
Great, thank you. It's even more press that we've got, and it just keeps coming every month. I mean, all that stuff that we just showed you. We've got this list right here, number 68, on the Direct Selling News Top 100 based on 2012 calendar year annual revenue. We came in at 165. What we love is 2013. When that's published in June of this year, that number is going to be almost double that. So, we are growing extremely fast. What really caught my attention, though, with this Direct Selling News website is they have an entire page on their site dedicated to North American Power. So, again, another indicator, just like the Forbes story, just like the Chief Executive Magazine story, shows you that people recognize the power and what's going to happen here, the future of this company. Pretty impressive right there. And if you think about how many companies grow to $1 billion a year in revenue, it's very rare, especially when thousands of companies start up every year, and only 20 in history have made it to $1 billion in annual revenue, or $100 million a month, and created hundreds of millionaires. And we can see them all online now in a few different places. I'm going to simulate clicking on the directsellingnews.com website, and then I'm going to simulate clicking on their top 10, top 20, and you'll see some companies that you probably recognize here. Amway just announced yesterday that their revenue came in for 2013 at $11.8 billion, so they just added another $500 million last year in new revenue. The odds of a company making it to this list are so small that it makes winning the Powerball lottery odds look really good. So you have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to get lucky to find out about one of these companies when they're small and then have them grow while you're with them to this type of revenue. I experienced that before 20 years ago when I joined that previous company, as it went from $5 million a month to $100 million a month. I got very lucky. Today, that company just did $1 billion in the last quarter, which is amazing. But, here we think we've caught it again with North American Power going from startup to crazy revenue in the next few years. Most companies, though, are started without a unique product, but they have this big money-making scheme and not necessarily helping anybody, adding value to their lives. But that's different here with North American Power because, as Henry said, we're an energy company selling energy, not a marketing company selling some way to make money. If you see a bunch of more names here that you recognize, I wouldn't be surprised. This is the rest of the top 20. What's also fascinating is that all of these companies in the top 20 are way over 20 years old, except for 3 of them. And I've highlighted them, and you can see very quickly that 2 of the 3 are energy companies. There's Ambit at 8 years old and Ignite at 10 years old, and there they are also up there almost at $1 billion. So that tells you, again, just like Henry talked about, 7 of the top 10 largest companies in the world are energy companies, and here we have 2 energy companies shooting straight up to the top of the direct sales ladder. So it's big, and here's why North American Power is going to join them, if not surpass them very quickly, because of the number of people in our markets that we serve and how rapidly that's expanding and how we really haven't even scratched the surface yet in these markets. Spring of 2012, we had almost 16 million people, and then in summer of last year, just 6 months ago, we almost doubled that from 16 million to 30 million people. And now watch what's going to happen here in 2014, adding Massachusetts, 6.5 million people, Michigan, 10 million people, Texas, 26 million. Heck, if we don't even open Massachusetts or Michigan, just adding Texas alone would almost double our market, 30 million, and there's almost 30 million people in Texas alone. But that's 42 million people added on to 30 million. That's, a 150% increase. And, again, we just opened a lot of this market, so we haven't even come close to scratching the surface yet in those states. So we have a long way to go. If we double our markets, or more than double them, what's our revenue going to do? Well, we think it will very much more than double, but we'll just leave it right there. Look at our revenue from 2010. We were just open for a few months there, and then 2011. So we and this was before we had the networking model. We were direct sales, but we didn't have the networking function set up. It took the next 2 years for them to get that in place. And if you look at our growth, this is what our founder projected we would hit in 2013. We think we'll come in a little bit higher than that. But then if we use that same projection of growth, more than doubling would take us well beyond $500 million for this year. But regardless, we're going to the moon. That's over $1 billion in revenue in our first 5 years from inception. That is striking. In fact, that will put us on the tongue of everyone in America. Everyone's going to be talking about us when we do that, when we finish this year, because of our revenue. Now, if you think these numbers are out of control, let me just show you Ambit here. We already talked about them. After 3 years, they went from $300 million to triple that. Pretty amazing. And then Ignite went from startup to almost $1 billion in their 6 years. So, we're looking at some pretty amazing numbers here, but they're kind of conservative when you look at what these companies have done. Now, we think we can do a lot better than what they've done because of reasons I'll show you in just a minute. But check this out first. This is from Forbes magazine, and this is the fastest companies to go from inception to $1 billion in revenue. You can see Groupon did it in 2 years. Priceline did it in about 2.5, and then Amazon, Google, and Office Depot took about 5 years to do it. So if we do what I just showed you on the previous slide, we're going to be right there with them. And even if it took us a whole another year to do it, look, we'd still be well inside the top 10. And this is going to put us on the map in a big way. Our VP of Sales predicted that we would do $1 billion in revenue in 2015 alone, and that'll be a record for a direct sales company, but it'll be pretty close to a record for a lot of other companies too. So we're really excited about that. But here's why North American Power is going to blast by the revenue projections that I just showed you. Because number one, the huge bonus money that we showed you in the beginning of this presentation, and the stories are getting out from people hitting those incomes. And that's going to get a lot more people coming over here because they don't have any investment. So they can come over here and make pure profit without taking on any risk. And then, of course, we have our free energy program, which Henry's going to tell you about here in just a couple of minutes, and that's exciting. And then from all of that traffic, we're going to have massive defections from other home business companies coming over to us. And I'll show you, actually, Henry's going to show you exactly why people are going to defect and come to NAP.
Thank you, John. Over my years of experience in direct sales, I found out that most companies charge a startup fee. Actually, I never met a company that didn't before this company. And they also charge a monthly fee, either a website fee or some products they have to buy. And those fees can go from $25 to $1,000. I mean, it matters. Now, they also charge an annual renewal fee to stay a member every single year, and some service charges sometimes. But when I look at this, I'm like, why would somebody choose a startup fee if the compensation plan is the same? Well, why are we getting charged to sell somebody else's product? That was my big gripe. Now, I talk to these people, such as like an Ambit person, and I would say, hey, listen, Joe, if your company said to you that you didn't have to pay the $429 to get somebody started and the $25 a month for your website fee, what would that do for your business? And he goes, well, geez, Henry, I have like 20 people I could sign up today. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what, Joe? Welcome to North America Power. We do that every single day. And he goes, I understand. So it's kind of a no-brainer. They look at the cost to join most companies, and the average person doesn't like to solicit friends and family because there is a cost to join, and they feel like this trying to sell people. I find that a lot of more people are joining this type of business with no fee. Now, we call this a dirty little secret network marketing. John called it the elephant on the table, but I've been telling people this for about 5 years, and I left the industry for a year and a half because of this, because I didn't see anything out there that showed value, and it was against kind of like my ethics and morals, so I just walked away. Now, the reason why is when if I was speaking to somebody like on a webcast or in a room, I would have to look at 9 out of 10 people in the room or webcast and say, you have to lose money for me to earn. Now, some people might be okay with that. I'm not okay with that. So that's why I joined North American Power, because also I don't have to worry about 85% of the people leaving after the first year. That's what they do in most companies. So, that's kind of like the real truth in the industry, and people don't like to talk about it. And that's why network marketing has got a bad rap over the years. Maybe you knew an uncle that had a garage fill his, with products just to make sure he hit a promotion or a bonus, okay? Or somebody got a bunch of products and they say, well, just give it away to people. Let them try it. I heard that many times, okay? So today I actually am so excited after 13 months because I can look you in the eye and say, you do not have to lose money for me to earn. It's just a different math model. Now, this also excites me. Talk about the right place at the right time. I got involved just before New Hampshire launched end of 2012, on December 10th, 2012. And in over a 1 year period of time, they put in New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Maine, and Georgia, okay, 4 states. And it's been exciting to watch the growth of the company. But now they're opening Massachusetts and Texas, and then Michigan. All right, so if you're in the dark blue states, don't worry about when they're going to come to this thing. It's coming. It's coming fast, too, especially with British Petroleum. As John said, we have that unlimited expansion for growth and everything else with the credit line. So, and also, there's big money to be made now in those states. The number one earner in the company actually lives in Texas right now. Do you think he might be excited because we're opening the Texas doors in just a very short time? And look what's coming on in the year next year. I can't believe it's almost 2015. It's kind of crazy. California, Florida, Kentucky, and Virginia are coming on. Now, 3 of those states, just California, Texas, and Florida, is 1/3 the population in the United States. So talk about timing. I believe timing is everything when it comes to business, okay? So you can actually get plugged in right now, and some people say, well, how do you know we're going to be in those states? Well, there's other companies already in those states, so they have to that's what the regulation is about. So they have to allow us to come into those states. So you can see where the markets are, and why I'm so excited. So you can actually get involved now with the American wind product if you're in one of those states that are not deregulated, okay? But what you can do is you actually help support renewable energy and the development of wind, solar, and hydro through United States workers and keeping jobs in America, and also getting us off of foreign fuels. It's really big for our country and big for our children. Now, also, as a customer, I'm a customer of American Wind also, because I live in, as John says, way up in the cold Arctic. No, I live in a remote part of New Hampshire that doesn't have the service. It's okay. We have our own windmills here in my backyard. But so anyways, no, really, you can get involved with $20 a month. You support the renewable energy. What you do is you purchase 1,000 kilowatts of energy for 100% green energy, and that's called a REC, okay? It's a renewable energy credit. And so this is allowing, the company allows you to do this, and you can pre-market your thing. Now, John, I just want to touch on this real quick. Don't change the slide. Now, okay. I talked about Texas. Now, would it be easier to wait to Texas to be open and then go after, say, 10 to 20 people, right? Or would it be easier to get 20 or 50 people, so when they open the state, each person goes after 10 or 20 people. You could see the reason why I got involved a month before, and then those first 47 customers that I put in has turned now into, actually, John, is 2,250. I've already passed 2,200 now.
Oh, wow.
So,
nice.
And it gets exciting, folks, because it was just the first part of the year, I was at 1,800. So you can see that the company is really starting to pick up momentum, and I'm actually feeling those the rise of the tide. So anyways, you can get plugged in just like other people are. The two of the top earners in unopened states. But this is something different, okay? North American Power is really big into charitable giving. Matter of fact, Kerry Breitbart's son talked his father into this Mission to Million program and say, hey, Dad, we need to do something with charity. He says, okay, well, what's it going to cost me? He goes, 15% of your profits. He goes, what? So he didn't even blink an eye over it. He did it. It's actually the company actually gives $1 per customer per month to the charity of the customer's choice. 1 million customers would equal $1 million to charity. Pretty cool. I'm actually in Bobby Dorans Jr.'s group. He's a very cool college kid, right? He's 23 years old. He has 20,000 plus customers in his group. That means a college kid has over $20,000 a month going to charity. Do you think that's kind of cool? I do. I think it's cooler than going out and having fun in a nightclub. That's for sure. So, anyways, here's the game changer of I believe the business. Okay, because we actually allow customers that are already saving money on their bill the opportunity to replace their bill, or at least get their supply portion of the bill taken care of. So you can just go get anybody into the business or become a customer. They give you 20 referrals, okay? They get free energy and some bucks in their pocket, and you just picked up 20 customers. That's the game changer, all right? Some people can do it a little faster by doing 15 referrals if they choose 100% green electric or 100% clean gas. Either way, it doesn't matter. Free is free, okay? So I think this is just a 4-month or 5 months now program that just started. And people now, it's kind of like popcorn. It's starting to be like pop, pop. Pretty soon you won't be able to control it. My friend Judy Farr here, she has earned free energy. A great picture, great photo, great leader. Matter of fact, Judy is almost an area director now. Congratulations. And she's just a wonderful woman that's trying to get her husband home for their retirement. So she's tired of watching him go to work every day. So that's her why of doing the business. So more and more people are choosing free energy, and definitely choosing North American Power because of that. So I believe at this point in time, John's actually going to walk you through the steps on how to get started.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up real quick. I just want to reiterate the money that you can make in the next week, in the next month, however fast you want to move. Get 30 customers, get free energy, put $1,400 in your pocket. It's really that simple. And once you do that, then you can get other people to duplicate it, and then that just, catapults your income from there. If you switch your electricity, the company's going to give you, or gas, the company's going to give you a $50 gift card. If you switch both electricity and gas, if you have that ability, they'll give you $100. But $50 in your pocket for switching one service, and if you get 2 other people to switch within your first 48 hours, they'll give you another $100. And then if you go get one more person, they'll give you another $50. So there's $200 right there just for you and 3 people switching. And then if you go get 12 more people, they'll give you another $250. So that's $400 right there if you do that inside your first month. And if you get 20 paid referrals, then your service is free, and you have up to a year to get those 20 in. So that's pretty easy to do. Now, you could call 100 people just in Chicago alone, 10 million people there, and you'd probably be able to get 20 people out of those 100 to switch. It's just a matter of dialing the phone. If you did that, in each one of these cities, you could probably get, Chicago, Cleveland, New York, Philly, Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston. I mean, you could probably get people in each city just by dialing the phone enough times in those areas. But if you get 10 more, whether you go get them yourself or if, a referral from one of your referrals goes and gets them, they would pay you $1,000 for having 30 people in your organization if you do that in your first month and a half. And there you go. There's $1,400. We can help you do it this week, or we can help you do it next week. It's just a matter, again, of how fast you want to move. What's your risk? None. So make your switch, dial some phone, and earn $1,400. It's really that simple. I wish I could complicate it. There's a lot more money available here. There's $5,000 when you add 125 people to your organization, and then when you add another 225, there's another $5,000. So there's $10,000 more right there, and then other bonuses I don't even have time to tell you about. But you're looking at coming in around $15,000 when you accomplish these numbers right here, and that's not even counting all the residual money that's available to you from all of that action. So kind of fun. You're building up to this right here, the significant upfront money and then also significant long-term money, and this is where you can walk away. Kevin Marino actually got written up in businessforhome.org on their website. Kevin Marino, North American Power, hits $1 million in combined earnings. Now, he did that over a 3-year period. He's one of our founding reps. And so he's been there as of November. He's, completed 3 years with the company. What's fascinating to me, he came in around $600,000 for 2013. What's fascinating to me is that he hasn't even hit the top rank in the company yet, and just think what his check will do. And I can already tell you it's going to be a lot more than $50K when he goes to the highest rank. So, and he's days away from doing that, or, whenever he gets it done, he is going to be loving life. He already is. So the story's out there. It's just a matter now of how many other people go and hit that income. I call this the easiest business I've ever seen because it's so simple. And here it is, 3 steps. Number 1, pull out your utility bill. Number 2, go to your friend's website, napower.com/their ID number. And then you'll get a website like this, and you want to enter your zip code in right there in that box. It says enter zip code, and then click See Rates, and then enter your info in 2 minutes. Switch your electricity or your gas, or pay $20 a month for the American Wind service if you don't have service in your area yet. And that's it. Duplicate steps 1, 2, and 3, and you're done. And check this out. If you switch your electricity or your gas, you don't even give the company a credit card. So there's no possible way that they can bill you for anything. How fantastic is that? And as soon as you enter your info, your website, your own personal site, goes live. Now you've got your own site, napower.com/your ID number, and you're in business. So it's just a matter of how fast you can go, punch in your info. Or actually, the biggest thing is finding your utility bill and getting your account number off of that. But you punch that in, you're all set up, and you can then, 10 minutes from now, you can go send people to your website and have them start sharing the information, get their own website, and duplicate the system. So I'll break these 3 steps down for you just to make it really easy. You get your bill out. This is a Pepco bill in Maryland, and it looks like this, and you see the account number would be right there. And then you see the kilowatts per hour rate that they will charge you for the supply or the generation. And you can note here Pepco even announced a rate increase October 1, 9.21. We come in a little bit lower than them, save you a little money. The rates went up with the harsh winter on January 1, but we were beating them by a lot more than this just 2 months ago. And that'll continue here in another couple months when our rates come down. But you click on sign up when you see the rate that you want, and then you enter your info, and that's it. Now, the bill will continue to be the same. It's still a Pepco bill. They still bill you. They still maintain the infrastructure. They still deliver the energy to you, but the supplier, the company that goes and buys it, that generates it, is going to be listed on the bill with a different name. And that you can see that right there. That one line will change, and all your numbers would come in, your charges would come in right here on the right. if I hadn't widened them out. But that's how it works. It's that simple. When you get your bill, it's going to be the exact same setup. So you don't have to worry about, what happens if the storm hits and our power goes out. Pepco is still they're paid to maintain that, even though they're not paying for the electricity. Now, if you do not have the ability to switch, if you don't have electricity or gas service in your area yet, like I don't, then your only option is American Wind, and you'll get an icon like this on your screen that will pop up, and they'll give you a long explanation of the summary that Henry gave you earlier on what American Wind is, and then you're paying $20 a month right there. That's the option you have to choose. Don't do the $10. That's for customers only. You can't get paid. If you do the $20 a month, they're going to pay you just as if you had switched your electricity or your gas. So that's where you want to be. And you don't need to do the $150. That's just prepaying 8 months. Hold off on doing that. We tell people you'll make more money when you do that, but you want to do that after your first full month. And when you read through the comp plan, you'll understand why. So just do the $20 if you don't have electricity or gas, and then you are off to the races. And that's all there is to it. I looked at this and I said, $20? Are you kidding me? I'll do that in a heartbeat and just see what happens. I could care less. I took a position with Henry when he showed me he'd already put 1,000 people in. That was just 5 months ago, and now he's already added another 1,000-plus people since then. Actually, I think you've added more like 1,400 people since we originally spoke about this back at the end of August. So he's growing like crazy, and it's because everybody's building 5 teams, and that's a whole nother methodology here that as soon as you understand that, then you'll see, wow, that's another thing that's going to create a stampede of people coming in to North American Power. So, Henry, you want to close this out for everybody?
Great job, John. Now, everyone, I like to ask you one question, and I'm not trying to pressure anybody. I just say, where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself just as a customer? That's great. Do you see yourself going for free energy? That's what a lot of people want to do. They want that energy taken care of. What can you say, I want to go for it. I want to work this on a part-time or spare time or full-time, whatever time you have, and just put a game plan together. I got started here a year ago, okay, just over a year ago, just so I can eliminate my electric bill because I was outsized in a position, okay? So you can see that some people have different thought processes, and what happened is over a couple weeks' time, I'm like, whoa, there's some big money here. I might want to take this a little bit more serious. So I built this on a part-time basis up until a year. And then you can see now pretty soon I have the option to say, hey, you know what? I don't have to go back to work. I don't have to keep building houses. I don't have to do these things, but unless I want to. And that's the big part of it here. So if you in the Maine area, we have a special presentation this coming Saturday morning at 11 a.m. At the Biddeford, Maine Public Library. So I know we're all over the country here, but I just wanted to put that out. I will be there, and I'm actually the guest speaker. So anybody in that area or knows people in that area, please invite them. Everybody, thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Henry. Good night, everybody.